Welcome to Money Matters. My name is Malcolm Sime. The shilling continues to dominate the concerns of the business community as the central bank's body language continues to point towards a tighter monetary policy with anticipated inflation. But that's for a little later. In this week's Money Matters program, we found out for you on why and how you can get a standard certification of your product, especially micro and small businesses, plus the terms routers, modems, and what they mean. Also this week on the program, we'll bring you the first of the two-part interview with the Director Business Registrations of the Uganda Registration Services Bureau, Mercy Kinawesho. In this first part, we also delve into the issue of intellectual property rights. Mercy, it's nice to have you on the show. Money Matters.
Thank you.
Very good. Now, I know you preside over a very critical institution in this country, which is the Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Tell us briefly, what is the latest there? What is happening?
Yes, Uganda Registration Services Bureau is an autonomous institution of government that was set by an Act of Parliament in 1998, and it came into force in 2004, but was later effective in 2010. So it's been a journey of transformation and acquiring the autonomy status. Uganda Registration Services Bureau is headed by the Registrar General, and it is also important to note that it was a directorate or a department under Ministry of Justice before 2010, and it is headed by the Registrar General. It has a board of governors. The Registrar General is the CEO, and our role in the economy or national development is so broad that we are in charge of business registration of enterprises. We have a mandate to register documents, agreements, powers of attorney. We have a mandate to register collateral securities. Uganda Registration Services Bureau has a mandate to handle, apart from registering business enterprises, we also have a mandate to register and promote intellectual property rights. And intellectual property is so broad, it includes trademarks, service marks, it includes patents, utility model, which are more innovations, inventions. It includes copyright, industrial designs, plant varieties, very soon maybe anti-counterfeit matters. Uganda Registration Services Bureau also handles civil registrations, which include civil marriages registration, birth registrations, death registrations, registration of adoption orders. We are also in charge of companies in liquidation. We are official receivers, and the other broad mandate is also to collect non-tax revenue, because we are a commercial agency of the state.
On the aspect of enabling business, because that's quite critical for a number of our viewers here. I know in the past, a number of people used to complain about the bureaucracy, the red tape involved in registering or formalizing businesses. Tell us, have you moved away from that? And if you have, what changes have you effected so far?
Thank you. The journey of Uganda Registration Services Bureau is a very interesting one. That previously we used to have experiences of delays in registration. We had challenges of middlemen and women, or brokers, if I may say, that used to stand in the gap of applicants and the registration services. And a lot of that led to a bad image and delays in registrations because of involving middle people that had no knowledge, or even when they had knowledge, they were misusing the knowledge to their own advantage for commercial gains. But through the leadership of the Registrar General and the board, our board and the Minister of Justice, we have made lots of reforms in view of simplifying the registration of businesses. Uganda has a large informal sector. And informality, by informality, I mean businesses operating out there that are not registered, businesses operating out there that are not licensed or even paying tax to some extent. And formalization involves registration. We, as Uganda Registration Services Bureau, are always the starting point for business startups. Even if you want an investment license, even if you require a trading license or to pay tax, you have to start with our office. So we have put in place many legal and administrative reforms that are intended to simplify registration. We make it easy for somebody to register as we move towards automation or online registration.
Fact,
what have we done?
Exactly, because I was going to ask you.
What have we done? With regard to legal reform, there has been an amendment of the Companies Act of 1961, which was replaced by the Companies Act of 2012. That's to some extent simplified the registration process and the pre-registration requirements of any applicant or whoever is interested in businesses. We have also the business name registrations law, which relates to business names registration, which are sole proprietorships or partnerships under the Partnership Act that are simple to register and require a lower fee of about 24,000. We administratively have made many reforms. From the entry, first of all, we have an online platform for assessment or processing of bank slips for payment of stamp duty and registration fees, and this is enabled by URA. It is online, so you can assess a company or get a bank slip to pay through the comfort of your office, or on a bus, on an omnibus, as long as you have connectivity. So ease of payment. We have a bank here where you pick documents for registration. We have some documents uploaded on our website for access to our information and our services. We have a payment center, a bank at our office here, and you don't have to move out to make payments in different banks. You have a bank at your convenience.
The Business Process Outsourcing Association in Uganda says that its current 200 billion annual turnover could triple once they secure a large and commercially viable center for operations. But such hurdles as cost of internet and operating space will still dog the sector, inhibiting the realization of its full potential.
Uganda's fledgling Business Process Outsourcing or BPO initiative will remain sustainable once adequate spaces are obtained to enable players secure adequate traffic of customers.
If you're looking where the biggest growth is going to be in the next few years, it's going to be outsourcing. Every other business today is rationalizing how they're doing their business, and they're actually concentrating on the core of their business and outsourcing. So the biggest growth in any sector in the next 5 to 10 years is going to be outsourcing.
According to the National Information Technology Authority, NITA, this particular challenge needs to be confronted if the enterprise of outsourcing is to grow beyond the current 200 billion shillings annual turnover.
We're going to use, of course, public-private partnerships. We don't want government to build buildings, no, we want private companies to build. The transformation here is a free zone, it's going to be a free zone. Here is a free zone where private companies can go develop infrastructure and use it to employ and do their business, we're not the only ones who have done it before. Egypt has done it before, Mauritius has done it before, Ghana has done it before, different countries have done it before. It's a way of stimulating growth under the ICT sector.
Yet another factor that the business process outsourcing industry needs to have sorted as quickly as possible is that of expensive bulk internet.
We think it's cheap because we come from a very high level, but the real cost is still very high. If you go to Europe, 1 megabit per second will be costing you less than $2. You cannot compete if you are charging $300 for that. Now the reason for this is simple volume. The volume of utilization is still very low in the government. We have been pushing government to get connected, but most of the institutions are not yet connected. In the public, people are not utilizing the internet yet, apart from doing a few simple applications and email access.
The constraint of space is now feared also slows down the uptake of outsourcing by sensitive clients, such as banks, hospitals and telecoms, even with a large pool of potential trainees in the country.
Skills in terms of English is much good. Their skills in terms of research is very good. So we concentrate more on research operations. So we take about 2 weeks of time to just actually get them up and running, to do some skills training on them, and then just get them into a process training, get them process certified by our customers, because we have global standards and quality certifications which we need to follow, and then get them onto the job.
Government has since pledged to offer the needed 10 hectares of land to establish a business park for the BPO as a job creation stimulant, taking into consideration its large global market.
Therefore, this BPO business at $55 billion, that's not small. Even if we were to take just $500 million of it for ourselves, for our children here, it will be something.
The use of data and internet are here and will not go away. So in your use of this service, you're going to encounter gadgets and equipment like routers, modems, plus things like 3G or 4G. What do these mean and how can they affect your use of internet services?
Have you subscribed to the now hyped 3G and even 4G internet, and yet you find that at certain times the internet speeds are so low? What the telecoms and other internet providers are not telling you is they do not have control over all variables in internet provision.
The 3G is limited by design for limited speed and limited quality of service. In 3G you cannot commit on speeds. One time is very fast, one time is very slow. Where is the quality of the service? When you talk 4G, 4G was designed not as a voice platform like the cellular operator. The 4G was designed as a data system to pass data and massive data. Voice can be voice over IP. TV can be over IP. Internet can be over IP. So you run the application over the platform. So 4G can commit on quality of service.
So when it comes to internet speeds, good speeds can only be kept with 4G, not 3G, which is what is commonly offered by telecoms. And moving on to the gadgets, what role does your modem and router actually serve?
Modem is the basic unit that used to connect from point A to point B, to pass data from point A to point B. This is a modem for a single connection. When you talk about router it's to pass data from point A to point B, but also to combine two different networks. Let's say the ISP network and your home, office, or mobile network. Any of the routers that you see today in the market, the mobile one, can provide also Wi-Fi.
Thus, routers merge mobile, laptop and PCs, but also several users in one place at the same time. For example, an office. So what's with the newest buzz gadget, the mobile router?
The advantage in the portable Wi-Fi router that you can connect it in any place at your premises, either home, in the office, so you can improve your signal. Since we are talking about wireless network, the location of the modem is important. So compared to a dongle that is stick to your computer and you must work in certain place, the portable Wi-Fi router, for example, can be installed or located next to the window. Then the signals are better.
Pricing is another sticky issue, but as is, that will be left to the consumers to choose the best price regime.
The price plans are there and they are high. They are not so affordable. 1 gigabyte can cost you 40,000, 42,000, 37,000. If you speak about 5 gigabyte, they will ask you for about 90,000 shilling. For us, for the same capacity, for the same money, for 90,000 shilling, we'll give you 10 gigabyte, 2 times more.
So why should a juice or bread or even cake maker as a micro business strive to get the certification of the Uganda National Bureau of Standards? What does it take to get the S-Mark standardization? This week's Consumer Insight attempted to find answers for you.
It's actually possible for micro and small enterprises to get their products certified for standards and become more credible to consumers. If you take the step to get certified, ultimately to your advantage, several things will be asked of you by the Bureau of Standards ahead of certifying you.
We bring these documents from Uganda Registration Services Bureau, to bring all documents from different local governments. They even told me that to bring the district health officer to come and inspect and write a report to them. Testing departments also, microbiology and chemistry biology.
So you have to be registered as a business or a company first. But it might also mean that you change your working environment to get certified.
We look at the premises themselves where they are manufacturing from. We do an inspection, on-site follow-up inspection, where we look at implementation of good manufacturing practices and good hygienic practices. In this, we look at whether the processing facility has toilet facilities, do they have hand wash facilities, are they providing hand wash detergent, probably non-perfumed liquid soap, to wash their hands effectively, do they have a change room for the workers to leave their personal effects.
They told me, like for example, the table to put some, I don't know how can, changes where I work from, and to organize the thing and to have shelves where I should put products. Time back I used not to have shelves. I make the products here to put it there, but they helped me by telling me to put them in shelves and in different areas, and to have a very different good uniforms.
What though are these standards?
They are simply documents streamlining the procedures and the way of producing or manufacturing particular products. And after that, they have to test their products in the laboratories for verification whether the product is safe. And we need to demonstrate consistency in testing their products to ensure that the system can deliver a product which is safe for the consumer to take.
There's a special effort at UNBS to help small and micro enterprises get product certification, first for consumer protection and ultimately for the companies and businesses themselves.
On this week's Entrepreneur, we'll bring you a story of a 27-year-old Eddie Mugurusi who has built a business empire from photography to running an NGO to developing software applications and writing and getting his works published. He has built his business around passion and a strong team of 8 individuals. We'll bring you this story and his ups and downs, but especially his success.
Growing up, many children usually have dreams of becoming engineers, doctors, teachers. Eddie Mugurusi too had a dream, but his was none of the above. He wanted to make money. He wanted to be a businessman.
So even as I was going through school, there was only one thing that I had at the back of my head. I simply wanted to get papers so that I one day have something to show my kids and say I actually went to school. But I wasn't going to school so that someday I could get a job or something like that. But I wanted to have that paper, make my mom proud. And that's one thing I told her again and again. I'm studying, I'm going to school so that one day I'll give you your papers. I'll bring them back home to you and say, Mommy, you did not waste your time. Then I'll venture out into my own things.
A holdover degree in microfinance, Eddie has never held a job in that field, and right after university, he took a rather eccentric path.
I had a small digital camera at home, and at that time, photography in Uganda was picking up. That was around 2009-10, and there was this new thing in town where people had these photographs and they edited out all your pimples and people looked really cute. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to try out that. So using this small camera, I started taking photos of just a couple of people at home and at campus. So I'd take photos of them. I learned how to use Photoshop. So I'd edit them and go print them for about 500 shillings and I'd sell them for 2,500.
This, however, did not last too long, as the income stream was small. So he ventured into videography and events management, which he was also later pushed out of because his equipment could not compete favorably on the market. At this point, he decided to ride on his passion.
At some point, I realized, what if I could write a piece, something that maybe one day would help people that don't exactly have this information to fight HIV, have it in their hands, so that you do not have to attend a conference for you to have this information. And in a period of about 3 months, that book was done. It's called the HIV Bible.
The HIV Bible caught the attention of the Uganda AIDS Commission and other stakeholders who wanted to join Eddie in his venture, but he needed to put some things in order for his NGO HIV Bible movement to take flight.
At that time, I hadn't really thought about making it legitimate. That means registering it. So they told me, you know what, we want to help you, but right now there's no way we can help you. You do not have an address of sorts, you do not have any legal documentation. So make this a thing, make it legitimate in the eyes of the law, and we'll get you support for your organization. So immediately we started on that with my partners. And in a couple of months, the registration was done, and we began working with the Uganda AIDS Commission. The new opportunities came our way.
This budding entrepreneur was hardly done. With the HIV Bible movement well and steady on its feet, he started a software engineering company, Innovate.
So from there, we ventured into mobile applications, basically for farmers, and the company began to grow. I think our latest project is one that you've heard about, the Sevo app. Yeah, that's an application for the president, something that is definitely going to cause a lot of waves very, very soon. The president has seen it, he likes it so much.
If running a small business is a tough thing, how will it turn out for 3 totally different ventures?
Every morning when I wake up, for example, the first thing I do is I check my email for everything that we do. I'll check my HIV Bible movement email, the JPEG, and then the Innovate, so that I see what has come in today. Is there any communication? Then after that, everybody knows what they do on a daily basis. So Philbert there will know today this is what I'm doing. William there will know today this is what I'm doing. Braka, everybody knows what they do. So they make it easy for me.
He still dreams, but of a big multinational with all his businesses under one big name.
And now is the latest from today's equity markets. That's it this week on Money Matters. My name is Malcolm Sime. Please do get back to us. Send us a text on 6565. You could also look for NTV Money Matters on Facebook. Leave your comments and views about the program. We wish you the best for the rest of the viewing.